Hello everyone, welcome back to my community. Welcome. So today I wanted to have a talk about regular standing wrapping versus using back on tracks. Now, standing wrapping for me used to always be my go-to and still my go-to. But since these back on track wraps came into play, not only that, they have back on track quarter sheets, they have back on track like sheets, scrim sheets, they have every type of thing. And I don't know about you, but I'm not a back on track fan, not yet at least. I am still doing things traditionally with my horse. So I wanted to talk about, like I said, the pros and cons of back on tracks versus standard wraps. So I don't know about you, but I kind of love just standard wraps because let's just talk about what we can do with them. So we can either put them on with a liniment, and then what that is a cooling effect that goes onto your horse. It's going to bring down the inflammation. It's going to really cool the leg. We can get all kinds of liniments, out there. There's tons of liniments. So it really depends on your horse if they like having the liniment put on their legs. Now my horse, Tink, if I did a video I could show you, he hates to get the liniment on there because I guess the menthol, the alcohol in there, like does a really cooling effect on their legs and everything, and it's like a prickly feeling. It just feels funny. He doesn't like it. But so I kind of stay away from that, and I actually use the green gel as a liniment. I'm sure we all use that. So that's one thing I use. The next thing being a poultice, okay? The old-fashioned poultice. Who doesn't use a poultice? Yes, it's messy, I get it, but at the end of the day, it's the best way for me to get out the heat out of my horse's leg. And if anybody has done a poultice, you're going to apply the clay onto the leg. It's actually a mushy white consistency out of a tub, fairly cheap, excuse me. You put that on first, and then usually I take paper bags. I actually get the paper bags at the dollar store. I cut them to size. I have them sit in water, and then I just put the paper bag on after I put the poultice, the clay. And then I'll take my standing wrap and I'll wrap him. And the only reason why I use the standing wraps is because after he's been out in the paddock a while and he has done a crazy run, or if I'm riding him and I feel like I did a little bit more today than I did the other day, then of course I'm going to apply the standing wrap and the poultice and the paper bags and so forth. So getting back to my conversation, I love just normal standing wraps. I don't know about you, but yes, they're a lot more work than doing just your traditional back on track. But I find that I buy the No-Bow standing wraps. I wrap them around, and then of course you have the actual nylon standing wrap that you're wrapping around. After that, I find that it actually stays in place, and it is actually not applying pressure, but it's working with the poultice, it's working with the wet paper bag, or it's working with the liniment to bring down the inflammation. Now let's talk about back on tracks. I'm sure you've all seen them before. They come in a variety of colors. You can get them online or your local tack shop. And you want to get them in the appropriate size for your horse, just like you want to get standing wrap in the appropriate size either, because or else they're going to be too long and bulky and it's not going to work well. But anyway, that being said, I've tried them. I've tried back on tracks because everybody's like, you have to buy the back on tracks. I'm like, okay, because at times my horse is 20 years old, his legs get puffy, and we all know that the best thing to resolve puffiness is obviously movement, to get them out of the stall, get them walking, get the circulation going. But like I said, I like to use these also after a strenuous ride, or just in general, just as a preventative to take down any stocking up that he's going to get. So I've tried the back on tracks, and yeah, I like them in the sense where they're very quick, they go on, you just Velcro them on the legs and you're done. You don't want to put any liniment on with them. If you read the Back on Tracks, they say you really shouldn't put anything on with it. You should really let the magnetics in it, do its job. So that being said, I've used them. And then I'll go to my horse like 10 hours later, in the morning to take them off. And they're like either pushed down or like his legs are still puffy. I'm like, really? Isn't it supposed to work? I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, what do I have them for if like they're still a little bit puffy, they're falling down on his foot? And let me tell you something, they are the right size, and I've even tried to like make them tighter and stuff. No matter what I do, they're still like, they're not working. I don't know why. So like, I really am like, I'm going back to traditional wraps are number one. I mean, I can see Back on Tracks be used for like, if you're hauling, you're doing trailering, instead of buying some shipping boots, maybe they would be effective for that. Or maybe just short runs, you know what I mean, where you're going to go to a show and you want to, put something on your horse. So like, instead of a standing wrap, you're going to do something quick because he's going in the trailer, he's coming out of the trailer, he's showing, he's going back in the trailer. So that's just my opinion. I mean, I would love to hear what everybody else has to say, but Back on Tracks are not my, thing. And I think I'm just going to stick with the old-fashioned standing wrapping and the poultice and the liniments and and of course the walking. You have to walk your horse, you have to get them out, and they have to walk. That's number one, movement. But yeah, I'm just not a Back on Track fan. I'm sorry to say that to everybody, but I'm not a Back on Track fan. So I love to hear what you have to say regarding the Back on Tracks. If you like them, if you don't, let me know. Please subscribe also, because you know what? I have a lot of information in all these videos that I would love to get out to everyone else so they can just, interact with me. And have a wonderful day, whatever you're doing. And I hope you see your horse today. Bye.